Yo, I left my tripod in Colombia, so I actually have to hold my phone for this live, which means I'm not gonna stay on here for a long time. Let me tell you that right now. Very, very, very unfortunate that I left my tripod. Because I don't want to hold my phone this entire time, but I don't have a choice. So y'all are going to get a good, I don't know, hour out of me tonight. Can't promise much more than that. Cannot. I cannot. I cannot. Where's my remote at? Oh. It says 2 people are here. Why don't you stop being a coward and leave a comment? Looking for my remote because I'm about to watch TV until people start talking. Guess it's a sign that I'm not gonna watch TV. Oh, there it is. Oh, now I gotta find something interesting. I don't actually have TV, but I have all the streaming platforms. Godzilla. Nah. I already seen Baki. What? They got Baki versus Kengan Ashura? That's a crazy crossover. Ah, it didn't come out yet. That sucks. Guess I'll find something else. Man from Toronto? No. The Trap? No. Let's see. Someone voted. How can you vote yes if you didn't actually leave a comment? That's insane. That's just straight up lying. And you go to hell if you lie if you didn't know. So, good luck in hell. Let's see, we got Baki. I've already seen Baki. Somebody tell me a good anime on Netflix. Ultraman. Nah, that doesn't look good. Somebody tell me an anime, bro. Onimusha? Could be good. I'm gonna put it on my list. I'm still trying to figure out who voted and didn't leave a comment. Why are you doing that? Why would you do such a thing? 3 people voted, and y'all said yes, and you haven't left a comment. Axa, why is my mom screaming? Axa, are you downstairs or are you in the next room over? Bruh, please don't play this out loud. Can I hear it? No, but my parents are down there, so I'm asking you to not. To not. Go ahead and just exit out, bro. Peace. Looking for some not basketball, sorry. There was a basketball thing that popped up. I'm looking for some anime. There was this one anime that I had started watching with a little nerd kid that had glasses and like some kind of superpowers. I can't think of what it was called. What could it be called? I've seen Mob Psycho 100. Do I miss Cali? Yeah, bro, I do. I really do. I really do, bro. But it is what it is. But I see that in you. I gotta re-dye this, man. It's almost out. I got my black beard, bro. It probably just looks like that in the light or something. It's only down here now. Because the last haircut I got before I left, I told him to bring it down a little bit. And, you know, un poco can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. So a little bit was a lot of it to him. What do I miss most?
To leave it with you.
Okay.
So you do homework.
What's up, Jim?
Being
What I miss most? That's tough to say, but I think it's weird because I'm not a people person, but I miss the warmth of the people. You come back home and it's just like nobody really talks to each other. I don't be seeing my neighbors outside. There's really no interaction between me and strangers now. And then also just who knows? The food. I miss the food. The freshness of it. Hold on, Axe is texting me. The beard and do-rag combo has you looking like you're from Sao Paulo. I'm gonna just start saying I'm Brazilian and see what happens. But yeah, man, I miss the freshness of the food. Like, I mean, I missed the taste of the food here, but when I eat it, I'm just like, bro, this is a lot, bro. It's like almost disgusting how not even flavorful. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it's like so greasy and saturated that you're like, bro, it's like too much. So basically, you're saying you wanted to stay longer. Of course, I would, bro. If this was a different life, I would have just stayed over there, bro. But I'm married, so you gotta make some team decisions. You feel me? It was already a team decision to go over there, so that was the compromise. I got what I wanted. Now she gets what she wants. Yeah, it was that good for me, bro, because it just fit my personality and my way of life. But there's things here that aren't there. Like Amazon. Like, bro, first day I got back, I'm like, oh, bro, I need this massage tool. I need this. I need this. I went on Amazon and I got it the next morning, bro. It wasn't even 12 hours before I got it. You can't do that over there, bro. Um, you can literally get anything in America, bro. Like, if you see that joint on the internet, you can order it. Not the case over there. There was a handful of times where, like, I was like, ah, man, I would love to get this or this. I remember I was going to order some supplements, and they literally just, they wouldn't ship it without a certain number on the zip code. And I'm like, but this is the zip code though. And they're just like, this is not a valid zip code for shipping. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. When am I going back? Uh, I don't know. Will graduates with his master's in December, so that's a possibility that I'll go back for that. His party was today. For his big party was today. Um, and he really wanted us to try to like postpone our flight a week so I could go to it, but I was like, bro, the plan it's already in motion, bro. Like we gone, bro. We gone. But I'm definitely gonna go back on vacation. I really want to take my best friend out there, man. He's kind of like spooked about Latin America, but I'm just like, bro, just go out there with me one time. You're gonna love it, bro. But he's just like, bro, I watched Narcos. I watched this Pablo Escobar series. I'm like, bro, that shit was like 40 years ago, bro. Like, literally. Was it 40? 30 still. No, he doesn't speak Spanish. I've been trying to get him to learn, but that's one of those things that it has to be internal. You could present it in all kinds of different ways, but someone still has to make that decision for themselves. Like, he lives here, and the place that he's in is so heavily Hispanic, and I'm just like, bro, you're a boxing coach, you're a businessman. You could be getting way more clientele if you also spoke Spanish. You don't even have to be like crazy fluent or nothing. I'm not telling him like try to do what I'm doing or what you're doing. I'm just like, bro, just literally start learning. You're gonna make so many more connections that way. To be honest though, Jalen, you look like you're Colombian. And you don't look like an easy target. But bro, my brother, my best friend, he's a professional boxer, bro. He's bigger than me. He's like 5'11", and he fights at 201, but he's bigger than that though. He just cuts to 201. If you saw, I'll send you a picture of him when I get off. Nobody's messing with him, bro. He looks like somebody that you don't want to mess with, bro. So, and that's what I was telling him too. I'm like, especially in Cali, like, if you're black, you're not gonna stand out like that unless you're wearing something that's just like, oh, this dude's obviously American, or you're talking real loud in English or something. But yeah, he's dark skinned, solid. Like I said, they're not gonna mess with him. All criminals are relatively the same. They like easy targets, like you just said. So they're gonna pick out the person that really stands out, the person that looks like they wouldn't know how to ask for help, the person that looks unconfident. Like even if you have a weapon, there's no sense in getting into a fight if you don't have to. So even people with a weapon, they still want to use the weapon to intimidate people that they think they can intimidate. Like if they think that you might try to grab the gun, they probably not gonna rob you. You feel like you stand out? I don't think so, bro. I think it's different when you get over there too, but nah, you wouldn't stand out, bro. I be getting mean mugged anytime I go to the hood here. That's different though, bro. So you know what the difference is? For one, I wouldn't be in the hood in Cali. But for two, I feel like that's it's just a very hood thing because everyone in the hood knows each other. So automatically, I'm like, you're a threat because why are you here? You're not from here. So are you over here to do something bad? Are you, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's what's going on there. And just everyone in the hood is just super, you know, just wired and ready to go because everything is a threat. You know what I mean? So I was good in Bogota and Cartagena. I mean, yeah, no, bro. Cali's super black. It's not even. Yeah, you'll be fine, bro. Trust me. Trust me. To be honest, I think you would stand out less than me, because even though you say I look Colombian or whatever, that could be, but I am muscular, bro. And even the muscular people there are typically like slender muscular, even the really strong dudes, because they're so active. They walk all the time, they do all of this stuff. So there's not a lot of people that are just like, ooh. So everyone that saw me would be like, dang, bro, you lift weights. So that kind of makes you stand out a little bit. But they could still just assume that you're Colombian and an athlete or something. But you're not gonna stand out, bro. Vaughn, what's up, bro? My dad lives in Decatur, denied gentrified park. I can't go into a Walmart without them staring me down. Yeah, bro. I just think that's like I said, I think that's just a part of being in the hood. They just waiting for something to pop off. So, um, and I get it. I get it. They've had some bad experiences, you know what I'm saying? When I go to my mom's neighborhood where she grew up, bro, I literally know every single person in that town. So if I were to see someone that wasn't from that town, I'd be like, what are they doing here? You would get stared at a lot in Japan, I'm sure. Man, I've seen some crazy videos of people in Asia, black people in Asia, where people are like asking to take pics with them and touching them and stuff. I just hate standing out. I hate being the center of attention like that, bro. Any major takeaways from my experience? That's tough to say, bro, but if you have a more specific question, let me know because I'm currently organizing a video about my time there. So I had recorded some clips like the last day I was there and like leaving and stuff like that. And I was just gonna post a short video, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna use these as transition videos for a larger video. So I'm just gonna like sit down at the table and just make a long video about everything. Because I'm gonna talk about the cultural differences, the food differences, and just every difference that I can really think of. And maybe like things that I've learned, perspective changes and stuff like that. So, oh yeah, he said I need to do a video on that. Yeah, there's a video coming. I just wanted to try to put everything I can in there so that it doesn't need to be like a part 2 or I don't like post it and I'm like, oh man, I didn't say anything about this huge thing or whatever. So I actually have I made a little notes thing in my phone and just like anytime an idea comes to my mind, or anytime someone comments on my YouTube and they're like, "Did you do this?" or "What do you think about this?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna put that in a video." So I'm kind of just like giving it like a couple weeks maybe, because I've only been back for, I think today might be a week, maybe. Nah, we left on Monday or Tuesday, so it's not, having been back for a week. So there's still a lot of stuff that I would say is like fresh. Like I said, the Amazon thing, I didn't even really think about how much I missed Amazon till I got back. And I literally saw someone that had an injury and they were like, "Oh yeah, this has helped my mobility so much after the injury." And I'm like, "Dang, I wish I could get that." And I'm like, "Oh, I can, bro." I just hopped up on Amazon and just ordered it right then. That would be a cool vid to make. You peep that? I'm gonna make it. Yeah, if you same thing to you, Vaughn. If you think of anything, like any questions or something you wanna know, just let me know and I'm gonna address it in the video. But yeah, it was a long time there, so there was just a lot of stuff that I got used to, and a lot of stuff that I don't really think about. So I wouldn't probably even address it in a video, which is why I need people to ask questions or say stuff so I could be like, "Oh yeah, 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 I could talk about that." But yeah, definitely. Probably, like I said, probably another week or two, just getting ideas, and then I'll make it and drop it. Cause I've seen a lot of people that have moved to Colombia and moved back, and they kind of don't make very detailed videos about what they experienced and stuff like that. They're just like, "Oh yeah, I loved it." I'm like, "That's cool," but maybe I could give like more tips to somebody that wants to move there and what they can expect and stuff like that. Reverse culture shock. Nah, I guess I don't really. You know, it's funny, bro. I think it might just be because of my personality, but I don't really know what culture shock is. Like, I just feel like there's nothing like quote unquote shocking to me about anything in the world. I feel like I can adapt to most things. I don't know, unless you like threw me in the jungle or something. Even then, I still would adapt, but maybe something would be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is like this," or "I have to do this." Like, everything there, everything here is just like, yeah, this is different, but I'll be all right. Not trying to bring up anything negative. I watched your injury video. Yeah, that joint went super viral, bro. On Instagram, that it has like 15 million views, bro. It was crazy. And this, you know what? Instagram actually played me, bro, because I was like, I'm gonna do something good with this and make some money off of it because I get paid when I post on Instagram. And I'm like, bro, this is gonna get so many views. I'm gonna get paid. So like a day or two into it, this was before it even reached like a million views. They demonetized it for being like a sensitive video. So I had got like $500 from the video at like a million views or so. And then they demonetized it. And then like the next 14 million came over like 2 or 3 days. And I'm just like, this is so fake, bro. I could have made thousands of dollars off of this. But they just like, and I even put in like an appeal, and they were just like, this violates the terms of whatever. I'm like, bruh, you act like I'm posting a dead body or something, bro. Like, it's my legs, bro. Like, what are you saying, bruh? Yeah, I think some people adapt easier, and it depends on the place. Yeah, 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 exactly. I just don't think my lifestyle was that different in Colombia. Like, there's little things that added up to a big lifestyle change, but every little thing wasn't that different. Like, my gym routine was still the same. I still found a boxing gym. I still ate the same amount of times a day. Obviously, the food was different, so that's a change. But it wasn't like I had to like completely change my lifestyle or anything like that. I think, I mean, and then like I already knew Spanish before I went there. So it wasn't like, oh my God, I never had to speak in Spanish, and like now everything's in Spanish. So it was different, but it wasn't like enough to be like, oh man, this is insane. Yeah, Instagram pays if you have enough followers and if you accept, like if you apply, like it's not, I don't even want to say apply. Like if you post enough reels, they will offer it to you. They will say you're now eligible to earn from your reels. And the thing is, most of the time, it's unreachable for me because I'm not an influencer per se. Like Mike, you know how on here you got the YouTube partnership, right? You got to get to like 4,000 view hours. You got to get this many subscribers. It's the same thing on Instagram, except after you make it, you can post 150 reels in 30 days and you get paid per views. But like if you're not like a crazy influencer, it's like no money. Like this month I've made like $3, bro, cuz I've posted like 2 videos in May and they both got like 15,000 views. So I made like $3, bro. That's money for those people that post 5 times a day and then like they're touching like 500K views on each video. They probably make a couple $1,000s a month. But for me, there was they changed the metrics too. So like when they first introduced it, if you would get thousands of views on your videos and you post it every day, you could get like an extra 100 or 200, $300 a month. But now, like I said, bro, even with like 15K views, I get like $3. So it's just, unless you're like planning on really being 5 times a day, every single day type dude, it's not worth it. If you had like a very specific channel, like for instance, Mike, you have a Spanish channel, right? So if you post it 5 times in a day, to me, that's not really that crazy. You could be like, I don't know, you could be like, zapato means shoe. And then you can do that 4 more times for 4 different words. No one's gonna care. They're gonna be like, yeah, this is the Spanish dude. If I posted 5 times in a day, every day, I just feel like people will be like, yo, what is this dude on, bro? Like, chill out. So I feel like you have to have very specific content to get away with that. Might have had a long-term residual income with that amount of views. Yeah, they hold me, bro. I'm still mad about it. Yes. All right, that's cool. See ya. My bad, y'all. I was talking to my mama. What was I saying though? Oh, I was talking about the influencer thing, but I think we came to the end of that topic. But yeah, it's for me it's not worth the investment. I am about to make another YouTube channel. Well, I already made it, but I haven't told anyone I made it. And it's it's about boxing. So that one's way more specific, and I could do something like that. It'll mainly be YouTube, but I'll definitely post a lot more on there because there's fights every weekend. Can make, videos about all kinds of random stuff, punches, defense, blah blah blah. So it's a lot easier versus like this channel. I wouldn't post 5 things in one day on this channel. That's never gonna happen. I barely post 5 things in a month. Susie Louise, what's up? Vaughn, where you at these days, bro? Do, 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 do. Oh, I just saw your comment, Vaughn. Yeah, you didn't know IG paid. Yeah, bro, get your cake, bro. Start posting some reels. If they haven't already offered it to you, they will eventually. You just gotta post enough reels. Yeah, Vaughn, it's coming, bro. I'm gonna post when I make the first video, I'm gonna post it. It's gonna be me and Kendall are making a video tomorrow. That's why I'm waiting. So we're gonna make the first episode together, and then I'll go from there. I should definitely post more, Susie. Susie, you know what? You're not the first person to tell me something like that. But at the same time, people, they don't give me ideas. If I post something, they'll be like, oh, this is a great video. I never thought about this. But I'm like, bro, I need some help, bro. I need you to tell me, can you make this video? I need help with this. Can you tell me your opinion on this? If you do that, every single time you do it, I will respond. Anytime somebody has said, can you make a video about this? I made a video about it. It's just, I think it's harder than people think to come up with an idea for a video. Vaughn, you in Texas, bro? I'm in the K, bro. I'm in my parents' house in Harker Heights, bro. So before you leave, we need to link up and make a language learning video or something, bro. You have a list of posts ready. But bro, your channel is newer than mine though, bro. After a while, you just be like, dang, bro, like what do I make a video about? I don't know. I feel like I addressed everything. It's kind of the same as like I was just saying with the Colombia stuff. In my head, I'm like, I have nothing else to say about it until someone's like, oh, how was this over there? And I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even think about that. When you have an idea, write it down in the notes on your phone. That's what I do. But like I said, it's just that there's not an incredible amount of ideas that I get for YouTube. Honestly, YouTube is just not on my mind most of the time. I be forgetting to do the lives and everything. Luckily, like Sundays are pretty rigid day for me. I've done it so many times now. I'm like, oh yeah, 9 o'clock on Sundays, I get on here and do live. But sometimes the one that I'm supposed to do during the week, because I say I'm gonna do 2 every week, I forget. Or I make plans and mess it up. Like I started teaching English on Wednesday nights when that was the day that I was doing my lives. So then I was like, oh God, I forgot. And I started doing the lives on Thursday. But then that messed up my schedule. And then I forget to do the lives on Thursday. So, but like I said, if someone ever makes a suggestion or asks a question, I always make the video. So maybe now that I'm back home, ironically, maybe I'll have more ideas. Who knows? Who knows? Like I said, I just, it just feels like every video has been made until you make it and someone's like, oh, I never thought about this before. Like, even though it wasn't very popular, the last video that I just made, the barbershop video, I got that idea because someone was asking me, how do you say fade or taper or whatever they asked me? And I'm like, oh, you know what? That's a good idea for a video. And that's the other thing too. You never know what other people want. Like that's why it's better that people give suggestions. I don't want to like make a whole 30-minute video and like nobody cares about it. You know what I'm saying? So, what kind of videos do you like, Susie? But yeah, Vaughn, we should do that, bro. Just let me know. I mean, definitely let me know when you gonna leave. But I don't know what your schedule's like. Let me know when you get free, bro. My keyboard just randomly switched to Spanish, but do I think in Spanish automatically or is it in English? It depends. It depends on the subject. All right, I'm gonna answer this question two different ways. The first answer is that, like I said, it depends on the subject. If it's something that I've done extensively in English 50,000 times and I've never experienced it in Spanish, of course I'm gonna think about it in English. But there are things that I learned in Spanish that I had no experience with in English. And so my mind automatically goes to Spanish when I do those things or certain situations. Like I don't know how much Spanish you know or regional Spanish anyways, but in Colombia there's a word baila. And there's certain situations where I just think baila pues. But like I don't it's just because that situation feels like that. It doesn't feel like there's an English word for it. Or sometimes I'm thinking something in English and I'm like, yeah. My second answer is that in my head, I don't think I'm thinking in any language because language is just a way to express ideas, right? So that you understand what I'm thinking, or I try to make you understand what I'm thinking, right? So when I look at the wall, for instance, I'm not thinking wall in English or la pared. I'm not thinking either of those in my head. I'm just literally thinking of the object. Now, if I wanted to tell you that I'm thinking of the wall, then I say wall. If I was telling someone that only spoke Spanish that I'm thinking of the wall, I would say la pared. So in my head, there's no language. There's concepts. And depending on who I need to express it to, or like I said, depending on the situation, what I say might come out in a certain language, if that makes sense. I feel like I just made that really complicated for no reason, but hopefully that makes sense to you. You're either watching fitness related or Spanish blogs. That's another thing too. I am a strength and conditioning coach and I speak Spanish. And I just remember I would look up a lot of terms or I would look up a lot of stuff because I'm like, how do I tell uh, my clients blah 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 in Spanish? And there's not a lot of content, honestly. There's a lot of fitness content in Spanish, but there's not a lot of higher level strength and conditioning stuff in Spanish. I don't know why, but that might be a gap I could fill too. One thing that would help people is, or one thing that would help is just looking through other people's comment sections and making vids about those. That's true. That's true. Problem is, I don't be watching too many videos these days, man. I probably will now, because YouTube for me was really a way to get Spanish input a while ago, and of course I moved to Colombia, so I was just speaking in Spanish every day. So I didn't. There was never any like. There was never a time where I was like, I need to watch something in Spanish on my phone, because like when I was living in Washington, I might go the whole day without speaking Spanish, and so I'm like, I want to get at least an hour of input or something. So I would listen to a Spanish podcast on the way home or whatever. But like I said, it was unnecessary in Colombia. So I really haven't been using my phone for that. But now I can since I'm back. My mom. Why did she pour water on him though? Susie says, got it. So it wasn't just a bunch of rambling that didn't make sense. If you got it, That means at least some of it made sense. Learning the world, say something in Spanish. Pero que quiere que lo diga. I think that's such a weird thing to say. I feel like I've said that to people in the past, and now I understand why they would just be like, bro, like, I hate when people say that. Because it's like, what? Like, what? Ah, eres de Cuba. It's nice to see an African American man speaking Spanish. Dope. Pero vives en Cuba o en los Estados Unidos? Understood. So you're back in the States? I'm back. I'm in Texas. It was a good year, but it was time to come back home. Ah, eres cubano, ok. Qué bueno. Vives en Cuba. ¿Pero cuál parte? Axahija. Texas boys. Where in Texas? It's a town called Harker Heights. If you know where Fort Hood was, actually Fort Cavazos now. Fort Cavazos. I don't even know what it is, but it's like 45 minutes away from Austin. The Army base, yeah. That's my hometown. Yeah, that's how I go down in the K. It's the hood, it ain't all about the military base. Was Spanish difficult for you to learn? Are you glad you can speak Spanish? There's times when it's difficult and there's times when it's not. It's not difficult to learn. It's difficult to get to a place where you can express yourself the way you want to. If you're not a big talker, if you don't have deep conversations, I feel like maybe you will say, oh, it's not that difficult, it's easy, blah, blah, blah. But the way that I am, I'm sure maybe you notice from me just rambling all the time. I really think deeply about things. I really like to choose my words carefully. I like to try to express myself the best way possible so that the other person understands me. And that is difficult. That is very difficult because the more you learn, the more you realize that words have connotations. And when you say something, it makes the other person feel a certain thing. And so you need to learn to choose words to make people feel the way that you want them to feel. You don't want them to misunderstand the things that you're saying. And so in the beginning, I would ask my friend that was teaching me, like, hey, what's the difference between this and this? And he would just be like, oh, it's lo mismo. It's the same thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. But they're not. Two words are never the same thing. That's why they're two different words. And so saying you're mad, saying you're pissed, saying you're angry, saying you're annoyed, bothered, those are all different things. And they can, you can just say like, oh yeah, they're all close to the same thing. But in certain situations, you don't want to say like I'm angry. You want to say I'm a little bit bothered by that. Like, and as far as your second question, am I glad I can speak Spanish? Absolutely. It definitely changed my life. I went to go live in Colombia for a year as a result of learning. I made a friend for life. I helped him graduate college. Made his family's like my family now, so it was definitely a life-changing experience. All right, Vaughn, appreciate you for stopping in, bro. Lucky duck. It's difficult when you start thinking of it as English. What do you mean by that? Couldn't agree more with what you're saying about communication. The words have emotional meaning too, not just a dictionary meaning. Exactly. Exactly. And so there was a lot of stuff that I learned um, living in Colombia that I probably wouldn't have learned here. Maybe. I don't know. Might have taken longer to learn it or something. But it's just like, for example, like one time, like when I first got there, I had said la mujer instead of la señora. I said la mujer de aseo. And there, the person that I was with was like, say la señora, because if you say la mujer, it sounds like you're like being a little rude. Like, and I was just like, oh, for real? Like I was just in my head, I'm just thinking like, oh, the woman that, and so, like I said, there's certain things that you learn through experience. You learn the connotation of words in the area that you're in, because sometimes in one area it could be offensive, in another area maybe not. So, in the area that I was in, they have a lot of respect for each other. A lot of people talk with usted. In the States, you don't hear that much. There, everyone does it. Um, so yeah, learning is a process. I love it, man. I love that there's just always something new to learn. Like no matter how advanced you get, how much you think you know, there's always more to learn. I learn new words every single day, every time I read a book in both languages, English and Spanish. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even know that. Didn't even know. JP says, how is your job? My job is amazing. I help people get in better shape. Learning the world. So, how long have you spoken English? Have you spoken English your entire life, or did you learn as an adult? I don't even know how old you are. How old are you? Do, do, do. Death Note. I love that anime. Just about to turn 30. Nice. So, how long have you been speaking English? Because from what I can tell, you have great English. The United States is built differently. I'm from the Bahamas and we greet everyone on the street. When I greet people here, they just ignore me most of the times. Yeah. Where do you live at? Because that also depends. So I'm obviously I'm from the South, and we're definitely more kind um, than the North and the West, because that was something new for me too when I left my city. Oh, Florida? Oh, yeah, I mean, depending on what part of Florida you're in, they definitely ain't gonna greet you. But yeah, the smaller the town, I feel like the closer you get to that, and the bigger the city, the more they don't. But still, just generally, you're right. Americans, it's like you're invisible. I started my English journey in my teens. Oh, you got mad time in the game, then. That's good, man. Your English, like I said, from what I can see, it looks great. So that's dope. Man, I can't think of what this anime is called. Susie, how far are you into your Spanish journey? Where are you at? I know that's a difficult question to answer, but if you can't answer it, let me know. I'll rephrase it. I keep inhaling something. Strange. Do. Oh, 3 months. You just started. What's the most difficult thing for you at this point? I'm still learning English though. I've never lived in an English speaking environment. Well, that's good, man. Like I said, the fact that you did that from Cuba, that's crazy good. Um, you know, you can learn a lot these days, man, with the internet and everything. Um, the biggest difference to me learning it from a quote unquote foreign place is that when you get into those environments, there's so many references and little words that you will never be introduced to until you get into the environment. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that isn't that wouldn't be said on a YouTube video or a TV show, stuff like that. But any native speaker would probably know it, and you'll just be like, "What? What did they just say? Like, what's that?" But you can learn, like I said, so much on the internet. You knew a little before becoming committed. That's basically how I was. I'm reading books and using different resources, so I'm enjoying the journey. Are you speaking to people? That's super important. The biggest mistake that I made before I started speaking to people was not speaking to people. I don't know how much, I don't know how long you've been around on my channel. I don't know how much you know, but originally, a long time ago, I started trying to learn Spanish because I took Spanish in high school, and I'm a good student, so I knew the numbers, I knew the present tense conjugations and stuff. I didn't have like the best pronunciation, but I was okay. And I would do all these apps, Duolingo. I would like try to read stuff. I would do all of this stuff, and just whenever there was people in real life, I couldn't understand them, and I just couldn't express myself. Like I literally was just like, I don't know how to say anything. And then one day, um, I can't remember exactly the video that I watched, but they were like, basically, like you need to talk to people. You start talking to people, you're gonna learn a lot more, and the more input you get, blah blah blah. And so my friend that lived in Colombia, that I became super good friends with, I was like, bro, start speaking to me only in Spanish, and I'll pay you money. And that's what I did. And very quickly, I started having full conversations like within months. And I was just like, bro, I've been wasting my time for so long. I speak to native Spanish speakers in public, at the gym, at the grocery stores. That's good. That is. If you can, I don't know what your budget's like, but if you can get on italki and pay someone to speak to you, that would be good. Because you can have a variety of different conversations for an hour or however long you want to. Because the interactions that you're going to have at a grocery store or whatever, they're going to be so short. But it's still better than nothing. Talking is always great. So keep it up. Nah, I think I can understand pretty much everything, even some slang. Internet is limitless. There are a lot of resources out there. However, I gather it is not the same as being totally immersed. Yeah, like I said, you would think that until you're in the environment. That's what I'm saying. There's just a lot of stuff that, like, there's a lot of Texas words that I could say right now, and there's just no way that you would know them. But there's the people in other states wouldn't know them either. That's what I'm saying. There's some things that you can only get from uh, being in the situation. But that's normal though. It doesn't stop you from being able to communicate or anything. You might just feel a little lost in the moment. But it's normal. I'm sure if I went to Cuba, even if I could, I'll be able to speak to people fine. But I'm sure you guys have a lot of slang that I just would have never heard before. Because it's Cuba, and I've never been to Cuba before. But I want to go to Cuba though. Tapping in about the KO. Appreciate you, bro. And that video on the boxing channel is about to come out real soon, so stay tuned, bro. I was waiting until I got more advanced for italki. No, you need to do that ASAP. Look, waiting until you're advanced to do anything is almost never the correct answer, because the more you learn, the more you're gonna feel like you're not advanced anyways, and so you'll just keep putting it off. You just need to get on italki and have someone meet you where you're at, and you guys will advance together, and you're gonna advance way faster than whatever you're doing right now. I promise you. I just subscribed for 2 years on Spanish Pod 101, but it's definitely not enough to learn Spanish. Just something to supplement your learning with. Yeah, I feel like every internet resource is definitely good for supplementation. I think that's what people. So I have a lot to say about Duolingo, and people think I'm just like saying don't use Duolingo ever and stuff. I'm not saying that. I never tell people that, but I just say like that's not gonna be enough on its own. Like that's cool, and it'll definitely help you. But there's nothing that replaces speaking. Nothing. My therapist, my physical therapist in Colombia, if I wrote something down, if I text her in English, she can understand anything without translating it. But she would be like, okay, speak to me in English. And I would say stuff, and she would just be like, ¿qué? And I would have to say it really, really slow, like at this speed, and then she could understand it, because she'd never had conversations with a native speaker before. So it's way different listening to someone else talk to someone else, because you can just kind of tune in and you're like, oh yeah, I understand that. It's different when someone asks you something really fast, like, hey, what'd you think about that last night? And you're just like, there's a different kind of pressure when someone's talking directly to you, and they're not holding back on the speed or anything. You need the content. I got you, but like I said, if you got any, you already sent me some. If you got any extra stuff, like after you see the first episode or whatever, if you got any extra, if you're like, hey, yo, next time do this, or I want to hear about this, just let me know, bro. Those sentence structures on Duolingo are so out of the box. It's wild and unrealistic. Will I ever be asking a turkey to lunch? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You can learn, so you would learn how to say turkey. You would learn how to say lunch, but it doesn't give you that automatic repetition of a real life situation. So when you get in a real life situation, you're like, what words should I put together here? Have you ever tried to compare Spanish to Portuguese? The doors are open for you to understand 70 to 80%. Yeah, I have thought about beginning to learn Portuguese, but I don't know. I just don't think that I would really want to be like a polyglot. Like I said before, I'm a person that likes to have deep conversations. I like to make connections with people. And so for me, I don't know anyone that speaks Portuguese. If I meet someone that speaks Portuguese, there will be a chance that I'll learn it. But right now, as it stands, I don't know anyone that speaks Portuguese. Everyone I know speaks English or Spanish. And so for me, it's a better investment of my time to advance my Spanish even more. I'm in a college course in Spanish right now. I have friends that are academics. I have friends in the streets. So I get a variety of conversations and stuff. And, every day, every month, every year, I get better at expressing myself and stuff like that. But I've looked at Portuguese before. Written Portuguese, I can understand a lot of it. because the words are similar. Like I noticed that any Spanish word that has like UE, you could change it to a O and it will be Portuguese, right? So like puerta or porta. Like I can't think of any other words like that, but I saw a bunch of them. And then I think anything that ends with like Sion, I think it might change to Sal or something like that. I don't know. I've seen a bunch of things that like if I look at it on paper, I'm like, oh, this is this word in Spanish. But when they're speaking, I don't understand any of it, to be honest. Yesterday, I went to the bookstore and I accidentally purchased a movie in Portuguese instead of Spanish. That sucks. There's been a handful of times I've seen tweets and I'm just like, what is this person saying? I'm like, oh, this is Portuguese. And then Spanish Portuguese, or sorry, not Spanish Portuguese. Portugal Portuguese is different than Brazilian Portuguese too. So, learning the world. Do you know Portuguese or no? The only reason I did think about learning is because I do love the music out there in Brazil. And I'm always like, man, I kind of wish I knew what they were saying because I'm a lyrics dude. Like for me, the lyrics and the beat are what they're like, what and what. Some people are like, oh, I just like the beat. Other people are like, oh, I like lyrics, but I don't really care. They could be doing it a cappella. For me, if the song is smacking and the lyrics go crazy, I'm in love with the song. But if I don't know what they're saying, it don't hit as hard. You know what I'm saying? I kept the movie. Once I master Spanish, I might move on to Portuguese. So I'm not returning the movie. Hey, man. Mastering Spanish is a task. I think you'll find that the longer you do it, the further mastery is away. Well, the more you realize how far mastery is away. Because, like I said, getting to a point where you can talk, it's not that difficult. In less than a year, you can be having like some pretty decent conversations. But then you start learning how deep that bag is of synonyms and higher level words that people probably don't use with you because they know that you're a learner. But once you start speaking better and they get comfortable and they're like, she or he should be able to understand, they start pulling out words and you're like, oh, whoa, didn't know that. The pronunciation varies a lot. It happens to native speakers of Spanish. We struggle really hard to understand spoken Portuguese. Yeah, Portuguese is different for sure. But on paper, like you said, you understand. For me, I think I would say I probably understand 70%. That's just a random guess. But if I look at it on paper, I definitely could pull the idea of whatever I'm reading. I don't think there's ever been a time I looked at Portuguese and I'm just like, oh, I have no idea what this is saying. I look at it and I'm just like, oh, I get what this is about. But yeah, it's different. It's different to deeply understand something versus um, just understanding the general topic. I don't recommend Portuguese. You will most likely mix both languages. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't really want to learn it. There's been a handful of times that like my YouTube live streams will have like I don't even know like just like 10 random people speaking Portuguese up in here and I'm like, bro, I wish I I wish I could respond to y'all, but I can't. All I know is bom dia. So, like I said, probably won't happen. You probably won't see me speaking Portuguese no time soon. No time soon. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really into being like a polyglot. I do it. I do it for the people. I do it for the people. I found that anime I was talking about, y'all. It's called The Disastrous Life of Saiki K. I'm gonna put it on pause. A ver, brother. Dime qué te pareció Colombia en español. Uf. No sé, bro. Voy a hacer un video. Como, no sé, en 2 semanas más o menos. Y voy a hablar sobre todo eso, pero... No, a mí me gustó mucho, ¿verdad? La gente es bien cálida. No sé, bro. Me gustó la comida. Pero, no sé. ¿Qué quieres saber? Have you ever watched Hajime no Ippo? Is that the boxing joint? No, I never watched that. But I've seen it a lot. I see the previews and stuff a lot, but I never watched it. Susie, I have a good friend in the Bahamas. I want to visit the Bahamas one day. I've never been to the Bahamas. I kind of want to go too. We should all take a trip to the Bahamas. But Brandon, is it is it really, are they like really boxing, or is it like some superhero boxing where they're like flying and kicking and stuff like that? Déjame suscribirme a tu canal. Gracias, bro. Es que en verdad no hago mucho contenido, pero no sé. Si me dices algo, lo voy a hacer. Oh, it's like real boxing. Okay, I kind of want to watch it now. Bro, I remember this one time. It's one of my clients. He's like I would say, he probably says I'm his mentor. And I told him he needed to start boxing, right? I'm like, bro, you need to learn how to defend yourself. You're a grown man. And he was so serious. And he was just like, bro, he literally said that anime, he said, I be watching blah, blah, blah. So I'm pretty sure I could handle myself. And I was like, bro, that's not real life. Even if you were watching real life boxing, that doesn't, it's not gonna help you. Like, you have to do it with your body. And he was like, nah, there's some pretty good stuff on there, bro. I was just like, I was cracking up, bro. I'm like, yo, you're being dead serious right now. You just taught me take a trip too. I don't know if I would have said it that way. What would you have said? You know, yeah, there's a lot of I can't think of what it's called right now. I think it's called a phrasal verb. I'm not a super grammar dude, but English has a lot of phrasal verbs where we put things together to make a phrase, right? So like take and trip are separate words, but if you take a trip, then you go on a vacation or go on a flight or whatever. And so that's what confuses people most about English when they learn it, because we have so many different ways to say stuff. Like getting up and getting down are two different things, right? Going up, going down, backing out, backing off, backing up. They're all different phrases that have different uses. And that's pretty tough if you didn't grow up speaking English. Especially because, like, changing one word completely changes the meaning of what you're saying. You know what? There's a funny story. There is a guy in my wife's jujitsu group chat. Somebody had stole something from the gym, and this guy, he's Brazilian, and he's learning English. And he said, "When I catch this guy, I'm gonna fuck him." But if you don't say up at the end of that sentence, that's a totally different sentence, bro. You gotta say I'm gonna fuck him up. You can't say I'm gonna fuck him. That's no. You can't do that. No Diddy. Yeah, bro. Imagine like imagine being angry and just be like, bro, I'm gonna fuck you. Like, bro, that would ruin the beef. I'd be like, you got it, bro. I don't wanna fight you. You got it, dog. Yeah. He so English has a lot of phrasal verbs like that where you have to say it the right way or you will be really misunderstood, you know. There's a lot of things you could get away with, but those phrasal verbs, they're non-negotiable. I'm trying to think of some other ones. I'll have to Google them, but we have a lot of those. You don't think about it as a native English speaker until someone says it wrong, and you're just like, "What? Like, what are you trying to say right now, bro?" And that's I would say that's the most difficult thing about speaking a second language is like you actually have no idea if the person understood what you meant. You know that they heard you and that they responded, but did they know exactly what you meant? Like for instance, uh I don't know. It's hard for me to think, but my friend, he opens my eyes about a lot of stuff because English is his second language, and sometimes he'll say stuff, and I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? And then he'll say it in Spanish, and I'm like, oh no, no, you said it wrong. But I could just like gloss over it and just be like, oh yeah, 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 definitely, bro. But I'm always like, let me make sure I understand you because you just be saying some random stuff sometimes. Does my wife practice jujitsu? Yes, she's very, very good, actually. Superstar. Jujitsu's good? Yeah, definitely. I think everyone should do some kind of combat sport, wrestling, jujitsu, boxing, taekwondo, something. It's good to be able to use your body and it's good to be able to defend yourself. So if you have the chance, you should do it. Can she beat me? Hell no, bro. What you talking about? I'm a beast, bro. Susie says, oh my God. Yeah, that shit was funny. But there's a lot of. Can't she hook you up? Without the up, yes. With the up, no. Nah, doc. But speaking of that, man, I got a handful of embarrassing memories from when I was first learning Spanish where like wasn't quite that bad, but just like realizing later like, oh, that's not what I meant to say at all. Or like being corrected on the spot and just being like, oh my God, is that what I just said? Like that's not what I was trying to say. I made the most classic mistake. And I remember when I was first learning, I was training a woman and I literally asked her, like, ¿Estás caliente? And she just was like, Sí, tengo calor. I was like, oh no, why did I say that? It's weird because I actually knew the implications of that, but my brain kind of just like glitched out. And in my head, I thought that was the right thing to say at the time. But part of the learning process, man. There's one right next to my gym, super convenient. Yeah, you should do it. should do it. There's a lady that's in the UFC, uh Polly, I forgot her name, Polly Viviana or something. And she actually detained a robber with her jujitsu. She beat him up bad too. So it's a very useful martial art. Fuck, you messed up. Yeah, I definitely messed up. But that was when I was first learning, bro. That was years ago when I was just literally trying to speak in any way that I could. Cause she was from Mexico. She didn't understand any English, and she was actually my one of my inspirations to learn because I was like, man, I don't even know how to tell her like we're going to do this. Let's do this, or I want you to do this. And so I would just point and signal, and she would kind of like verbalize it. She would say, all right, like this. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I would realize everything that she said to me in Spanish, I would remember it the next time. That was the thing that inspired me to start having conversations instead of the way that I was learning. Because I learned more with her than I had ever learned studying stuff. Just literally from talking, because we would have you have all of your senses involved: touch, sight, hearing, so like, yeah, like I would like demonstrate squats and I would just point at her and I'll be like, you. And then she'd be like, las sentadillas. I'm like, yeah, las sentadillas. But I never forgot after that. Any word she said, I would never forget it after she said it. So, but yeah, in those times, I couldn't have a conversation at all. I could understand the very most basic stuff, but anytime she thought I was getting better, she would turn up the conversation and I'd just be like, what? I don't know what you're saying. And she would have to, we would be using Google Translate when it would get too deep. Too deep. Good times, man. Me and her are still friends too. We follow each other, or we're Facebook friends. So every time I post something, like some of my videos are in Spanish, and she'll just be like, I remember when you couldn't speak Spanish. She'll be like, that's crazy that you speak Spanish now. But yeah, like I said, she's part of the reason that I learned. So that was tough, man. I actually I had 3 clients from Cuba too. They had just came from Cuba. That was right before I left to Colombia. And those girls talked fast. Cubans, oof, that's a different kind of Spanish right there. No disrespect, but y'all be zooming, bro. And it's like y'all don't close your mouths. I know that's a stereotype, but I'm just saying, like the Cubans that I've met, um, they talk so fast, and it's like they're almost not even moving their mouth, bro. I'm just like, damn, bro, slow down and pronounce it a little bit more so I can understand everything. $10.25. How much longer will I stay on here? Oh shit, I'm on 4%. But every Cuban person I met has been super cool though. Super, super cool. I mean, but I feel like all Caribbean people are cool though. So all my Puerto Ricans, they're the ones that originally taught me Spanish. Colombians, they're not Caribbean, but they got Caribbean spirit. But yeah, Cubans, man, that's some tough Spanish. Tough. One time, this was when I was in Colombia actually. One time, my friend called me. He was like, "Hey, man." He's like, "Can you translate for me?" And bro, put me on the spot, bro. And I'm like, "Translate what, bro?" And he's like, man, I just hit this dude's car. Um, and I don't know what he's saying, bro. Just tell him we could call the police or we could pay or I could pay, blah, 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 blah. Man, he put this dude on the phone. This dude was so Cuban, man. I was like, whoa. I was like, better. Like, cause this dude is like, I say, tu amigo me jodió el bumper. And I was just like, bro, I don't even know about cars. You speaking fast and you telling me stuff that happened to the bumper and other stuff. And I was just like, bro, I'm like, I need you to talk to me like I'm 10 years old. But he was cool. We got it. We got the situation situated. They were pretty nice. They were just like, yeah, we ain't trying to call the cops and to make your life hard. We just need to be paid for the damage. And I was like, all right, well, give me your info and we'll get the money to you. But I told my friend, I was like, hey, I would prefer that you don't call me out of the blue at nighttime and use me as a translator because I'm like, that was stressful. You know, it's one thing, you know, you can understand what someone says and you can speak back to them. And what's even harder than that is translating. Because I can understand what you said in Spanish. I can speak back to you in Spanish. But now I need to tell this person in English what you're saying. Or I need to take what you're saying in English and tell this person in Spanish. I gotta be like, ooh, what's a good equivalent phrase for what this person is saying right now? Because we don't want any miscommunications, right? So translating. I would want to be a translator in combat sports. I love seeing those dudes do the interviews and then they have an interpreter with them that does the message afterwards. That would be super cool. But you're so on the spot, and man, I've seen a lot of not great interpreters where I'm just like, that's not a good translation of what he said. Like, so I feel like you have to be super skilled to be a good interpreter. I'm actually eventually gonna do a podcast with this guy that is the interpreter, the Portuguese and Spanish interpreter for the UFC. He agreed to do it with me, but it's just hard to lock him in because of his schedule. But he's a great interpreter. He's crazy. Well, he's from Brazil, so he speaks Portuguese, obviously, but he's crazy fluent in Spanish. He has like if you hear him talk, you would just think he was Argentinian. And his English is great too. I don't even know if his Spanish or English is better because they're both so good. And so I wanted to get him on my YouTube channel to talk about how he learned Spanish and English and tips and all this other stuff. But he's such a great interpreter because he doesn't do word for word translations. He lets the person talk and then he says the message in an equivalent way that we would say it in English, which I think is better than a word for word translation. Do you watch UFC? Yes, a lot. There's a Brazilian dude named Aldo. Of course. Jose Aldo's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer, bro. And he is retired, but he's back, so he's technically not retired. He unretired himself recently. I don't know if he needs money or what, but he's back, bro. He's back. He did boxing for a little bit when he retired. I watched him fight like 3 Argentinian dudes. And then out of nowhere, he just said, I got a fight coming up in the UFC. So that is going to be interesting. I slightly think that they might be trying to set up a grudge match between him and Conor McGregor. I know that sounds weird, but somehow I think they're trying to do that. Because Conor McGregor is going to fight Michael Chandler soon. And then Jose Aldo's back. So, don't know. I don't want to see it. I wish he would have just stayed retired. He's a legend, man. And I wish he would have beat Conor McGregor, to be honest. But He let his emotions get the best of him. That was crazy, man. That was crazy. What do I think about what McGregor did to Aldo? Are you talking about inside of the octagon? Because, like I said, I wish it didn't happen like that. But he got inside of Aldo's head. Like, Aldo rushed him because he was mad. You can't let your emotions win when you're fighting. Right? And this is one of those times when what I'm thinking actually doesn't seem, I can't really find the words in English, but you're Cuban, so I feel like I can say this to you in Spanish, but obviously tienes que pelear con la mente fría, right? Like, but saying that in English sounds weird, saying like you have to have a cold mind, and doesn't have the same ring to it, but you can't fight with your heart, you gotta fight smart. Yeah, McGregor beat him mentally, right? Definitely. That was so short. It was, man, I remember it. I remember exactly how it happened. I was in a bar in Seattle and it happened and I was just like, no, like no way. Like that was like 3 seconds, bro. Justin, what's up? But yeah, he's still a legend, still a Hall of Famer. He bounced back and did his thing, but that was tough. I wish it didn't happen like that. Like even if he lost, it would have been whatever. But the fact that it was just so short, it was tough. Justin said hello and never said anything afterwards. What are you doing, Justin? What art thou doing? Let's see. I've been on for 87 minutes. I think I might go until 10:45. You don't know what to say? All right, that's fair. God bless you. Thanks. God bless you too. Do something con la mente fría means something like with no emotions involved or troubling you. Yeah, but it doesn't sound right in English. That's what I'm saying. There's certain expressions. I feel the same way vice versa too. Sometimes there's an expression in English where I'm like, nah, that doesn't hit the same. It doesn't feel the same in Spanish. So that one doesn't feel the same to me in English. Like honestly, if you said, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just not the same. It has like I said, it has a feeling in Spanish that it doesn't have in English. Even if you say like, oh, like you do it with no emotions, it doesn't have the same feeling. I'm sure you know what I mean. I'm sure there's times you think of stuff in Spanish and you're like, doesn't sound as good in English, and vice versa. Sometimes I can't think of anything right now, but sometimes I remember when I was in Colombia, I would be like, hey, like I'll ask my bro, like, how would you say this? And he'll be like, there's not really an expression. I would say it like this. And I'm just like, no, like, it's not the same. You get me? But yeah, man, I one day I want to go to Cuba. What part of Cuba do you live in? You don't have to like tell me your exact location or anything, but Definitely gonna travel there one day. Oh, you live in Havana, okay. That would be the place to travel to. What do you think of Cuba? I know people that actually live in places always have different opinions of the place than people that visit there. Of course, any American can tell me, like, "Oh, Havana is lovely," blah, blah, blah. But they don't have to live there. They can just go with their American dollars and have fun for a weekend and leave. So, and I also understand that you might not be able to tell me exactly how you feel if you have any negative thoughts. I don't want you to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. So if you have negative thoughts, you can just tell me you prefer not to say. But if you just if you have neutral thoughts or positive thoughts, I'd like to know what you think about living in Cuba. Jessica Avila. Hello, Jessica. Bro, Cuba is screwed up. Communism fucked up the country. I've heard that. I have heard that. Jessica, hello. Why did you say hello twice? Or are you a hello bot? Do you know how to say more than hello? So you're just gonna keep saying hello. Hello. You're very right about the tourist experience versus the real experience of living in Cuba. Yeah, that's a lot of places, man. Parts of Mexico, parts of Colombia. People are like, "Oh, life's amazing there. You don't have to do this. It's real easy to do this." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, because you went there with money and you don't live there. So you don't have to deal with the problems that the citizens have to deal with because you're on vacation. It's no different than taking a trip to New York or something like that. For me, I don't live there, so if they have crime problems or something like that, I wouldn't really experience it because I would be in a nice part only for the weekend. I don't have to like walk to work at 4 in the morning or something like that. So I get that. What about like daily life? Is it tough for you? Therefore, I said to you that you will die in your sins, for unless you believe that I am He, you will die in your sins. Justin went from not knowing what to say to knowing exactly what to say. Ella es hispanohablante. Jessica Avila is a Spanish name and a Spanish family name. I mean, I figured that. But also, you never know because especially in America, you could have the most Spanish speaking name ever and they will not speak Spanish at all. And you will actually feel like they're messing with you. You're like, you speak Spanish. And they're like, no, I don't. But I figured that Jessica is a Spanish speaker because she only says hello. Susie says E. My bad. So you accidentally typed E. All right, I'm gonna be on here for at least 5 more minutes. It's 10:39. I think I'm gonna get off at 10:45. I think. But like always, if I'm in the middle of some good conversation, I end up just staying. So who knows? I can't help but share. It's radically important. That's fair. If you think that, do what you gotta do, man. Do what you gotta do. Right, Catalina doesn't speak Spanish. Yeah, it's just a very American thing. But man, I get it because it's tough here, man. Like, depending on where you live, I mean, like, immigrants come here and they don't want their kids to get bullied and treated differently and stuff. So they're like trying to force them to speak English all the time. And then they grow up and they can't speak Spanish. And so they got uh, what you call it? Spanish speaking faces, Spanish speaking names, but no Spanish speaking. Hey, learning the world. What do y'all say in Cuba to describe somebody that is obviously, let me think. I'm gonna say obviously a Spanish speaker, or maybe I don't even know if y'all have that expression because you're in Cuba. But for instance, a lot of Puerto Ricans would say la mancha de plátano. A lot of Mexicans would say like, I think they say like either la cara de nopal or tiene nopal en la frente, something like that. Like just to say like, bruh, you are clearly Mexican or clearly a Spanish speaker. Just because you can look at their face and be like, your family is from a Spanish speaking country. Hey Susie, what part of Florida did you say you lived in? You live in like a Miami or you live in a Jacksonville? No, brother, in Cuba everyone speaks Spanish. Yeah, that makes sense. They still have that expression in Puerto Rico, but people speak English in Puerto Rico, so some people anyways, I should say. It's definitely different than Cuba. Oh, my back. Also, learning the world. If you ever have any questions about English slang, you should ask me because I love answering those questions. I have a friend who his name's Felipe. He's from Brazil, and he comes on these live streams. And he's not here today, but normally he's here, and he brings me slang that he heard in shows or songs or whatever, and we talk about what it means. So if you ever have any questions, ask me. I might even make a video about it because I feel like there's a lot of I actually feel like this is a weird topic, but for black people that grew up in black places, I feel like a lot of Caribbean Spanish has expressions and words that we can relate to. And so the dictionary definition um, might not be as cool as the definition that I give you. We might actually have a phrase that goes along with it. Can you see how that would be? That is very important if Jesus told the truth about who he claimed to be as the promised savior of the world predicted by the Hebrew prophets of the Old Testament. I'm from Florida too, Susie and Quick Temp. I'm a college student in Gainesville, but I'm living in Central Florida right now. That's cool. Yo, what's up? What's poppin'? Brand new whip just hopped in. How did you come up with that username? M7MD_999. I've never had a username like that before. I always have to have something that I could really remember. So it's always my name or something. I've never made a username with mad random numbers and letters. Even if it's an account that I won't even barely use for something, I'm like, nah, bro, can't. What do I think about Arabs? I don't know. What do you think about Arabs? What is that? What kind of question is that? I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to say. Arabs are cool. I grew up with Arabs. You live near Palm Beach. I don't really know where that's at, to be honest. Only thing I know in Florida is Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Orlando, and I got semi know Tampa. Bro, I'm Arab. I'm Middle Eastern. Yeah, I mean, that's dope. I have no problems with Arabs. Like I said, I grew up with lots of Arabs. My dad is actually a fluent Arabic speaker. Mashallah. Yeah, he lived in Jordan for a really long time. No, no, he's not Arab. But he went to go live in Jordan to learn Arabic. But he really wanted me to learn when I was a kid, but I was a kid. So I really didn't see the value in that. He would just always try to get me to learn. I should be like, no. Am I a military kid? Yes. My dad is still in the military to this day. And in fact, I joined the military and I've gotten out. And in that time, my dad has still been in the military. I want to say he's at 30 years now. You're a COD fan? Yes, children are like that. He tried to incentivize me so many times too. He'll be like, if you, because he had like a book. I don't even remember like what it was, but it had like a bunch of words and stuff. It was like a learn Arabic book. He's like, if you make it through this book and you can say all of this stuff, I'll give you X amount of money. And I would start, but I was like, bro, I'm not doing this. Like, who am I gonna be speaking Arabic to? But then actually went to college, and I was gonna be an Arabic major. So I was like, you know what? I really should have taken this seriously. He should have retired. Nah, he's living a good life, man. He's a high-ranking political military official. Hey, stop. Stop scratching. So he's making the big bucks, chilling. See, and this is what happens. I said I was gonna get off at 10:45, and then I got distracted talking. So now I'm gonna make my time 11. I like ending it on those fives or zeros. You feel me? And 10:50 is too close. So now we gotta go until 11 o'clock. My cell phone shut down. I'm back again. What's your Wi-Fi like there, bro? I remember I watched a YouTube video and they were saying like, I don't even remember, like when you were in public, like you had to like pay for the Wi-Fi. I don't know, it was something weird, bro. Must be nice. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I wish, I wish I was a high-ranking military official that got paid. The military was not for me, and I stayed in way longer than I should have. But that was my own fault for being stupid. Susie, why you awake? If you're in Florida, it has to be 11:50, right? You don't gotta go to work tomorrow. Stop scratching. That was back in 2016 and 2018. Now we use mobile data. Oh, okay. That's interesting. And is it very expensive or no? Why wasn't it for you? To be honest, I feel like I'm too much of a thinker. I don't have problems with authority, but I do think about what I'm doing, and I'm just like, why are we doing this? And that's not what you're supposed to do in the military. You're supposed to take orders and do what you're told. But I'm like, man, this makes no sense. Like, better ways to do this. This system's dumb. This tradition's dumb. So it's just not for me. And I don't like having a report every single place I go. Yo, I have a question. What's up? What's your question? Hey, no. I got an injury working out, I think. Damn, your nail is bruising and lifting. Your shoes too small, bro. What exercises were you doing yesterday? I bet you I could tell you which one did it. Yesterday I was crying in the bathroom and my eyes were bloodshot eyes and self-harm. You good, bro? What's going on over there? It used to be crazy expensive in the beginning. Now it's reasonably affordable. Okay, I have another question then. So, I don't have very many experiences with communist places. But I do know, like, in Venezuela, like, almost all the jobs earn, like, the same amount of money. Like, even the doctors don't really get paid that much. Is it, like, the same for y'all? Are there certain professions that you can do where you get paid a lot more? Or does everyone get paid relatively the same or what? Leaning, I love your wave cap. Thanks. You know, it's funny. Like, I'm getting older and I barely have hair anymore, so I'm almost wearing it for no reason. Like, I don't even wear my hair like very long anymore to have like deep waves like I used to. So I almost do it like out of habit. I think it was the shoes. Oh yeah, you put on a pair you never wore. Yeah, that first time breaking them in, that's never very comfortable, especially and if they were already too tight and they're new, that's tough. I got PTSD of my grandfather's loss. So you have PTSD because your grandfather died? Did he die in front of you or something? That's a part of the black culture for sure. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I'm getting old, man. I say about 5 years from now, I'll be rocking a bald head. And losing friends. That's sad, man. Taxi driver working in the tourism industry earns more than 7 times the amount of a surgeon working at a hospital. That's crazy. I would just be a taxi. What's the incentive for being a doctor then? Q, I was in the bathroom at Wawa and this man was looking at me, shaking off. Is that supposed to be? Is that what you mean by shaking off? I looked at him and said, "Is there anything you need?" and laughed. What would you have done? If you're saying what I think you're saying, I would not have asked him, "Is there anything he needs?" Not really. He's my fave. Hey, man. Death is a part of life, but it is sad for sure. But everyone we know is gonna die. If if it's not you, it's gonna be them. So I don't know if they died in a violent manner or what, but I've lost a lot of friends, so I know how you feel. Did you dye your beard? Never saw that before, but it's nice. Yeah, but you know what? It's almost gone now. I usually rock my beard a lot longer than this, and I dye it. But the last time I got my hair cut in Colombia before I just came back, I asked him could he lower it just a little bit, and he was like, so like on the sides, like the way he did it, I barely got anything over here now. It's just long right here, and then like yeah, you can see the dye is like at the bottom now. Probably like in another few weeks, if I get another cut, it'll be gone, and then I'll probably re-dye it. Oh, shaking dry, like he was shaking his hands. I mean, I wouldn't have done anything. I just people sometimes people look. I feel like it's not worth the confrontation to talk to random people. To be honest, Tamar Tamir, I went and bought at 26. Shame. Hey man, God doesn't love everybody. Uh, some of us we're not his favorites, bro. I seen people that are like 50 years old with the full hairline intact, thick hair, and I'm like, what did I do to God, bro? Like, why is he taking my hair away? That's not nice. You know what I'm saying? But same time, how old am I? I think I'm 32. I think I just turned 32. Um, so it was a good run. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, by the time I get like late 30s, 40, it's gonna be gone. Like I'm just like it's whatever, bro. I'm gonna be rocking the Rock. I'm gonna be looking just like the Rock or Rick Ross, every other bald dude in the world. It is what it is. Do I support Palestine? Yeah. You just returned from Colombia. Yes, I've been back for like 5 days now. I lived there for the last year. She said, "Yikes." Hey man, I can't help it. I can't change nature, man. It's not even tough luck to be honest. Like, I think I feel bad for people that lost theirs in their early 20s and stuff like that, cause that's when you're super vain. That's when you're like more likely to get picked on and stuff. Like when I see 40-year-olds that don't have hair, I literally don't think anything of it. Like, yeah, if I go bald tomorrow, I'll just be like, whatever. But when I was 22, if that would have happened to me, I think it probably would have hit hard. But at this point, I don't care. I'm married. I literally don't care what random people think about me. So I'm a guy and I don't care whether I go bald. I know I won't go bald. Yeah, see, you don't care because you know you won't go bald. That's it. That's like rich people. Rich people be like, it's not worth it to have all this money. Money doesn't do anything for you. Trust me. I'm like, yeah, bro. That's easy to say when you have it. If you're poor, you'll be like, yo, I wish I had some money. All right, you have a good day too, man. Good luck on your finals. I blame teaching in Atlanta from the age of 22 by 26 ball. Man, you know it's funny. I'm like really for random reasons, right? I'm really educated on male pattern baldness because I do work with hormones, and so like there's just a lot of myths about hair loss and stuff like that. Like people will say like, oh, like that's happening because you wear a hat or all kinds of stuff, bro. But like people that are gonna lose their hair are gonna lose their hair. Now you can have a full head of hair and you're meant to have a full head of hair and you can lose it because of um, illness and stress and stuff like that. That can happen. But people will be telling people that have genetic male pattern baldness, like, oh, well, you just need these supplements and this and this and this. And it's like, bro, that's not how it works. Some people are just gonna lose their hair. I think God pushes some men's hairlines back in their early 20s if they're not doing right. Maybe. That wasn't the case for me. As I said, at least he gave me a little bit of grace. You know what I'm saying? Waited till my 30s. It's definitely leaving now, but and that's the other thing too. There's like a whole scale. Like it's called like the Norwood scale. And some depending on your genetics, some people will be further along that scale. Like you'll see some people that they just lose this part, and that's all they're ever gonna lose, but they'll fully lose it. And there's other people that will keep this hairline intact, but they will lose this big circle right here. But everything else stays the same. So yeah, it's all genetic. And there's actually stuff you can do if you care that much. There's products and stuff like, because like I said, it's a hormone thing. Um, and the main culprit, from what science knows, is DHT. And that's like I can't remember, like dihydrogen testosterone, something like that. But there are products that you can take. There's pills that you can take that will lower that, and it will allow your hair to come back. But you might have side effects from the medication. But there's all kinds of serums and stuff like that. And then, of course, there's hair surgeries. You can go to Turkey and literally they will implant the hair in your head. Tory Lanez, LeBron James, a bunch of people do that. Matthew McConaughey. That's why you see like most actors, they have a good hair head because they just go get a hair transplant and then they just you take medication after you get the surgery and it allows you to keep your hair. I'm joking. I figured you were joking, but even if you weren't, it was funny. I've cut my hair bald many times. See, that's what people with a full head of hair be doing, man. They just be doing stuff, just cutting their hair bald for no reason, man. Just flexing. Bald and beard is goat. You know what, man? It is. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's funny when I see other people with bald heads. I'll be like, yeah, well, that suits him. But you never think it's gonna suit you. Well, I know you've cut your hair bald. I've seen it before. And you randomly did it too. Like, why did you do that, bro? But yeah, it always looks better on other people. I just be like, bro, I ain't trying to be smooth Michael Jordan bald, bro. But when I see other people do it, Mike Tyson, all kinds of people, I just be like, that looks solid. I'm glad he shaved his hair off because most of the time people's hair looks a mess trying to keep it because the pattern's all messed up and stuff. And I'm like, you look way better bald, brother. But for me, I'm like, nah, my joint gonna have to just fall out. I cut my hair off 10 times, now my hair is back again. Because I can't grow it out longer than a little bit. And I start to look like a penguin. A penguin? I'm trying to think of what pattern you talking about that looks like a penguin. Oh, I didn't know you was balding, bro. I thought you just did that just to do it, but I mean, that makes sense. Honestly, for me, it's difficult to maintain. I had some belief as a child that once they went bald, it was just permanent. I think that's the worst part about it for me. I think that's the only reason I don't do it is because, like, yo, like, you go bald and, like, 3 days later, you could see, like, hair right here and stuff like that. And that joint looks crazy. So I'm like, nah, bro. I guess you gotta just wake up in the morning and just do it every day or something. I don't know. You're a hairy person and used to think it was a curse? Nah, that's a gift. That's a gift. To be honest, I don't even know why. Or I don't even know. My wife says I look like a penguin and roasts me, so I shave it. Bro, if you got a picture of what you're talking about, please text me that, bro. Would you get a hair transplant first before just saying, or would you get a hair transplant first before just saying, F it, I'm gonna go bald? Bro, So I don't want to say I wouldn't do it because I don't want to like end up doing it and everyone's like, this guy's a phony. I remember when he said he wouldn't do it. But I'm just too lazy, bro. And like I said, I really care what random people think. Like, actually, I remember maybe like nah, it couldn't have been 5 years ago because my joint hasn't been like that. Maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, I posted a pic and some random dude on Twitter was like, bro, your hairline's looking crazy. And I was like, okay, what do you want me to say back to that? Like, literally, I was just like, what do you want me to say back to that? And he was like, I don't know, my bad. I'm just like, yeah, like I don't know if he thought I was gonna get like offended or something, but I was like, bro, I don't care, bro. I don't even know you. So unless I was like already in Turkey and somebody was just like, hey, yo, the clinic's right here. Why don't you just come do this real fast? I can't see myself like paying and booking the trip and doing all of that, bro. That's what I said. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna do it ever, but I can't see myself doing it. You will when you grow it out. Oh, you don't have no pictures, bro? I don't want you to grow it out just for me to see it. I don't want you to get roasted by your wife, bro. People be saying anything. Yeah, bro, I was literally just like, okay, did that make you feel good or something, bro? Like, did my wife travel to Colombia too? Yeah. We both went out there for a year. Right, that whole process sounds exhausting. Yeah, yeah, you got like the healing phase. You got to try not to get infected. And then on top of that, you have to take medication for the rest of your life to keep that hair because, like I said, it's a hormonal thing. So if you get a hair transplant, you got a full head of hair, and you will lose it in the exact same spots over time, just the same way you lost your original hair. Which is why, like, if you ever seen like Tory Lanez before he went to jail, or like right now, his hair is crazy because it's falling out. You're moving to Medellin in a month? Oh, that's dope. You gonna move there like permanently, or you gonna be there for a certain amount of time, or what? Really, that's interesting. Yeah. It's crazy. You can tell who does it and doesn't take the medication because they will appear with a full head of hair one day when they didn't have it, and then you will see them again and be like, yo, like LeBron James. His hairline was crazy at the beginning of his career because he lost his hair really early. Then he popped back up with a sharp hairline and a decent amount of hair in his head. And then now he's back to a lot missing up here and around here. And he's got like a pretty sharp hairline now, but like that's like almost all he has. For a minimum of 2 years to teach in an international school, is it what is that thing called? The Minga Academy or something like that? I feel men don't need hair. We don't. Katie need that transplant. Mike hurt Medellin and he popped back up. That was like that's like his bat signal. Yeah, KD needs a brush. But at this point, he really don't have that much hair. Hold on a second, y'all. Y'all distracted me again, bro. I said I was gonna get off at 11. No, but I had to talk with Minga. Oh, okay. You you speak Spanish or no? What time is it in Texas? It's 11:10. Learning the world. He's from Georgia. Mike, learning the world is from Cuba. He's born and raised in Cuba. Mike is eventually supposed to come out here to Texas and we're gonna make a video together. No Diddy.
Also, I thought Texas was 2 hours behind the East Coast.
Nah, just one. That joint used to always confuse me too. When I was in Washington, I would be thinking people were gonna be closer in time than me, and I was like, I keep forgetting Texas is only 1 hour behind the East Coast.
I've been learning off and on throughout life, but I started studying Spanish seriously in October. Is that 2023? That's why I made this channel to track my progress.
Oh, for real? Do you post videos on there? I'll check out your channel when I get off of here.
Also, I don't know what level your Spanish is at, but I like to make videos with people that
Are learning Spanish. I like to have conversations in Spanish to inspire other people.
to learn Spanish. So if you're down, we could have a conversation in Spanish.
And what would be really cool is if we make a video, you move to Medellin, and we see
Where you're at way later down the line. I don't know, a year or 2 years or something. Your channel will blow. Your Spanish is fairly good.
okay, you got the mic stamp of approval. Mike, what I don't even know why I'm asking this. It's too hard to put a formal rating on someone's Spanish, but
I'm just trying to figure out like what level of Spanish he's at. Yeah, that's D Mike Ben, bro.
learning the world, um, you can say either one. You can say off and on, or you can say on and off. It really doesn't matter. It's the same thing. I say, let me think. I was learning the piano, or I've been learning the piano off and on. I say off and on. Back then, I was learning off and on. Yeah, no, I would never say on and off. Would I?
I don't fucking know. I'm not good at rating.
I know, bro. That's what I said right after I asked it. I'm like, I hate when people ask me that about my own Spanish or other people's Spanish, because I'm like, bro, I don't know. The only thing I can really say, like beginner, fluent, somewhere in between. That's all I can really say to people. But he's doing well, still learning.
But doing well, good grammar and pronunciation. Oh, well, that's good.
I just, you know me, bro.
I just, when I have conversations with people, I actually want us to be able to have a conversation. I don't want them to feel uncomfortable, and I don't want us to be like sitting there looking at each other for too long while they're trying to figure out what to say. So
I'm guessing if you're saying somewhere in between,
we can have a full conversation, right?
Susie says off and on. My Spanish is where I can have basic convo, yet still out here not knowing about imperfect preterite. Well, that doesn't matter, bro. To be honest, you learn that stuff through context. Like a lot of native speakers won't even know those terms, anyways. Like, to be honest, I don't. Mike probably knows those because he's a teacher, and I teach English now, but I do more like conversation classes. So I'm a little more familiar with those terms, but I really don't know them super well. You would have to like say like, oh, the preterite is this, the imperfect is this, and then I could be like, oh, okay, this is how you do it. But yeah, you'll learn that stuff through context, especially like living in Medellin, bro. If you're willing to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, your Spanish will improve rapidly. I've talked about this before, but living somewhere doesn't automatically make you better at the language, because it's really easy to avoid using the language, actually, especially
In a place like Medellin, because that's a tourist hub. If you really want to, you're going to be teaching English. So that will be a lot of your day where you'll be speaking English. And the places that you go, you could get away with ordering stuff in English, not talking to your Uber, not talking to your neighbors. So you will not automatically improve rapidly, but I figure if you've made that channel and you're making that move out there, you're probably interested in improving your Spanish. So you probably will put yourself in those uncomfortable situations. So you probably will improve a lot. All of you guys are talking about learning Spanish, and I'm here doing my English assignment for today. Hey, that's the beauty of language learning. We're all over the place, but we all got the same goal. Literally in my videos, I'll be like, mis estudiantes tenían muchos problemas mid-sentence. Yeah, like I said, it's a matter of time. In hearing it, hearing other people say it, and you'll be like, okay, they always use this word when they're talking about blah, blah, blah. Or for instance, problema, right? Problema is el problema. And you know, whenever you first start learning Spanish, they tell you like, oh, all words that end in A are feminine, but that's not actually true. So for problema, it's actually muchos. There's a couple other words like that. They usually come from Greek. So mapa, and a couple other ones that I can't think of. And then, the other one too. This is a little bit different than what I'm talking about. But anytime a word begins with a and it's feminine, right? If it's singular, it's actually not gonna be la, because I can't think of what the word is, but it's too ugly. I'm just gonna say it's too ugly. So like you don't say la agua, it's el agua. You don't say la águila, it's el águila. But it's still a feminine word. So if it's plural, it will return back to las, because then it will have the S before the A. But like I said, that's just stuff that you learn from speaking, and you hear other people say it, and you're like, wait, did he just say el agua? Why does he say el agua if it's blah, blah, blah? You know what I mean? So it's just stuff that you learn.
Not 5 minutes.
I know. I literally said I was going to get off at 11, and I just keep staying on. So I'm a partier.
You stupid.
Both are correct.
Let me use this charger. I want to walk downstairs.
But yeah, like I said, I'm just experience. If you have a good friend, like my friend, I've always told him like, hey, if you hear me say something wrong in Spanish, correct me. And he always does. You know, I could be mid-sentence and be like, he'll just tell me like, yeah, he does it to my wife too, and she didn't even ask, but she falls under my umbrella, so. But yeah, there's a lot to learn. So I would say just keep a good attitude about it. Mike actually just made a video about that not too long ago, but just like being open to learning and being corrected. Because like I said, man, you will never reach the end of this journey. Every single day I learn new stuff. Me and Mike were just texting about a particular thing said in Colombia. And he didn't know it. I didn't really use it before I moved to Colombia. And so it's just no matter how advanced you get, there's always stuff to learn, even in your own native language, to be honest. But when am I headed to Medallo, bro? Oof. I don't really know, bro, because, okay, now we're talking Cartagena. Barranquilla, bro. Okay, I would go to Barranquilla. I don't know about the other two. Cartagena is a city full of scammers, and Medellin is just too hot for me, bro. Like, not obviously not temperature wise, but the crime and the problems with the tourists right now. I just wouldn't want to be there, bro. But Barranquilla, bro, I would like to go there. That's the coast too, bro. You know that Spanish is crazy, bro.
You never reach the end of the journey. Exactly. Exactly.
That's just how it goes. And like I said, you could have a good attitude about it, or you can have a bad attitude about it. Lots of people are just like, oh well, I'll never learn everything anyway, so what's the point of even trying? Or
You can just keep trying and keep learning more.
Good night, Mo.
all right, my wife said good night. She said it's time to get off of here. So, any questions or comments before I wrap this one up? Mucho estafadores. Yeah, bro. Okay, y'all. Peace. Cuídense.